Hey everybody, it's Lily from Skelly Home Renovations. We're back today in the same unit we were in a couple weeks. Looks a little bit different because we have cabinetry now. I'm going to take you guys through the decision-making process when it comes to selecting your countertop and all of the different small decisions that come with that. So stay tuned. Okay, the first component or kind of decision to think about when you're thinking about switching out the countertops in your house or putting in new countertops in a new house is the overhang. And what that means is the amount that the countertop is going to overhang beyond the cabinet doors. So some people prefer an overhang that's pretty prominent. Other people want it like as far set back to the doors as possible. So those are all decisions you can talk through with your designers or your builders. And really that's just a preference thing. There's not a lot of like functionality or practicality that comes from that. I would just say it's really like what suits your eye the most. So that's the first decision. Also in regard to overhang, you really want to think about if you have a peninsula or an island or any portion of your kitchen that's going to be intended to put stools or something like that to sit at and eat at. You want to think about the amount it overhangs beyond the cabinet so that you can push your stools underneath. Typically that amount is somewhere between 10 and 12 inches. If you want something that spans beyond that, maybe closer to 14 or 15 inches, say you're just a really tall person or you have really deep benches, then you end up needing to put supports under here so that it can hold the weight of the countertop, which is totally fine. No one will ever see them. But it's definitely a really important decision because if you get your countertops installed and you come in with your stools and they won't fit all the way under, that's going to be really frustrating. So that's something important to think through before you get to the process of signing off on your countertops. Okay, another component to kind of think about is adding a waterfall edge. So if you have a peninsula, an island, or any sort of like end to your cabinetry, what you can do is you'll obviously have your top piece of countertop that's going to overlay the entire span of your island, but you can add on a waterfall end piece to the edge of it. So you'll have your first piece that comes here, and then you add a second piece of countertop that comes here and dives down into the floor, and it creates a really just like cool, stunning, modern look. And that finished seam right here, what you're gonna see is just one clean line, and we create that by doing 2 miter cuts on each piece. Right here, that's a 45-degree angled cut, meets up right here for just one super clean line. Okay, last component to kind of think through is the actual finish choice of your countertop. So this is a great decision to work through with your builder or your designer because there's a lot of different options. And most of them are just aesthetic preferences that you might prefer one over the other, but there are some finishes that add like a practicality use too. So I'll just go through a handful of them off the top of my head. What's most popular, you probably see most often, is a totally polished finish. So if you're looking at a granite countertop or a marble countertop, usually it's got that shine to it and it can be really easily wiped down. That means it's completely polished to the stone. A polished finish allows you to see the stone and the natural beauty of the stone a lot. So it can be a really nice finish if you have a really marbled stone or a stone that has a lot of variation in it. Then there's some other types of finishes that I don't see installed or used as much, but they can be really cool in the right places. And so there's something called a leather finish, which is a little bit rougher of a finish. This is often used in like outdoor grill areas because it's a rougher finish, a more weathered finish, whereas if you were to put it in your kitchen, that might get some like grit and gummy, food gunk on it where you don't want it there as much. A similar finish is a suede finish, similar to leather but toned down a little bit, almost like a matte finish would be on a painted wall. And then there's also options of doing like a honed finish versus unhoned, which is similar to polishing it. It's just the degree of what you finish the countertop out as. So those are really good just decisions to walk through with your designer, and you probably want to spend some time looking at the different options and going to showrooms and actually feeling the different options and seeing what the best option is for you. Hope you guys learned something today about countertops. Those are kind of the 3 biggest takeaways that I think working in the industry when it comes to countertops. Just important decisions to walk through with your family, designer, or builder. So once again, those are overhang when it comes to your main cabinet area and your eat-at portion of your peninsula or island. The waterfall edge if you want to add that on to any end piece of your kitchen. and then also just the finish of the countertop itself and selecting what works best for you and your household. So yeah, hope you guys learned something. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.